This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by. Good evening, and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Tonight, for December 10th, 2025, it's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. Again, this is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. I'm this evening's net control. Tonight, we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. Normal months, we meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can contact us if you'd like, elmer@w0tx.org, and on most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive some of our nets onto youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net, where you're not able to make our repeaters, that's an additional way to participate in the net. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use I2 phonetics for your call sign and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. If you'd like, you can follow along with who's checked in via w0tx.org/check-in. With that, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We certainly expect this month to be a bit slow, and that is not a problem at all. With that, we'll take all check-ins then, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, if you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood with traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Uniform Charlie, Chad Islands Ranch, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KE0SUM, Jonathan. We then had online KC1YFS, Kevin, checking in again. Appreciate that. And KF0UUC, Chad, thanks again for checking in as well. Appreciate all the check-ins. If there's anyone else who'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard at the moment. Appreciate everyone who's checked in. I just came from the Denver Radio Club board meeting, so I can provide some updates from there. But we had checking in SUM Jonathan with traffic, so I'll get back to you here in just a second. Again, this is about an hour long. If you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, this is a general Q&A about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you'd like to check in, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood.
All right, in that time we had N0TRP. Jim, thanks for checking in. With that, I guess we'll throw it over to Jonathan, SUM, with traffic. The net is yours.
Hello, Drone. I was just watched a real interesting YouTube video on a guy saying why the VHF nets are dead. He's in Florida, been a ham for a long time. I don't think I caught his call sign. But his complaint was that you get VHF nets and, okay, you get 10 people in with no traffic. So you don't get the kind of camaraderie that we used to get on VHF, where you kind of you do a little rag chew and things like that. But there's so many people that listen, which is fine. They are shy, but a lot of the ham radio operators on this net are generals or extra. Now, my other question is, the Denver Radio Club, according to the almighty Google, has 489 members. So, how come more people don't check in with traffic? K0SUM, back to traffic, back to net.
All right, great question. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I think I maybe found the video you were watching, potentially from the YouTube channel Ham Radio Concepts. Potentially the call sign of the that Florida operator is at K8MRD potentially. So I'll have to try to skim through that. As you mentioned, we have plenty of members, and this was something definitely brought up at our recent board meeting just a few minutes ago. I can delve into that a little bit, but. It's a great question. Why do we have so many members and so few check-ins and to nets like this? Anybody have further information on that, or opinions potentially, or something that might help? Please call now. All right. We are starting to introduce what's called the W0TX Membership Involvement Committee. It's not finalized yet, but the goal of the committee is to find, discuss, and present possible solutions to the board of directors to increase membership participation in the club. W0TX is a general purpose amateur radio club services, providing services for members of the club. To meet this need, we need member involvement, and currently the ability for an individual member to be involved with the club is limited. This committee looks to drive suggestions for paths of involvement, allowing for the club to provide resources to members and the Denver area. So not exactly on nets, but pretty much, hopefully with something like this, we'll be able to drive a bit more involvement in our nets. So look for more information on that. Coming out soon. Brian Diem and Pete Sobansky, or I think Kelly, Brian Diem and Pete have put it together, and I think Kelly is spearheading the membership chair there.
So, this begs another question a little bit. So, Denver Radio Club members who do join, you have a lot of members, and I know at your field events they're really well attended, but why don't they like VHF anymore? They just abandoned it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, looking at the counts over the last year, we were in mid 15s, 30s for some of our nets, and it definitely dwindled down. So we can't always blame the any sporting events or anything like that. I have not watched that video yet, so I don't know, but I'm sure it is worth watching. It's only about 15 minutes, so someone was asking in the chat there. But yeah, anybody else on that though? Go right ahead, please.
See, that's the thing, Drone, with people listening, and probably more than checked in. It's like, okay, if I don't get any feedback, is my opinion right? Or do we have an opinion anymore? KU0SUM, back to that.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I think I had another check in here. Gary, I think, potentially. I forgot the call sign here, but sorry. Getting a little bit distracted myself this evening. Yeah, it's unfortunate to see membership or participation in our VHF nets dwindling. It is unfortunate because it's cheap and easy to get into with a 5-watt HT. And I was going to mention your signal sounds a bit warbly tonight. I'm not too sure what's going on. It's readable but a bit scratchy, SUM. So yeah, I guess the suggestion of to watch this video if anybody has more interest. Ham radio concepts from today. VHF, UHF repeater nets are so boring. So it might be worth watching and might answer some of these questions that we have here. Only about 15 minutes or so. We had a check-in. I guess it was KC3NHE. Really do appreciate that. Oh, no problem. You're good.
10-0 TRP.
Yeah, Jim, N0 TRP. Go right ahead.
Yeah, this ends OTRP. Yeah, Dawn, I think the repeater's a little crackly because I can receive both you and Jonathan there crystal clear on the reverse. But listening on the repeater is crackly, so not quite sure what's going on there. Weird up in the mountains or up on Centennial Cove, not sure. But anyway, just want to let you know I can hear both you guys fine on the reverse.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep, it was doing the same thing for you as well. Okay, that is kind of odd. Not too sure what's going on there. Yep, winter weather, it's not too bad. I mean, we haven't had too much snow, really. I mean, we had some recent snow, but it's been melting. But shouldn't be having much issues with our main repeater. So that is interesting to hear, though. Anyone else? We have plenty of time here, still 45 minutes. Probably be a bit of a quiet evening, but I can certainly bring some things up, recent on-the-air magazines, QST magazine articles, things like that. But if anybody has things further on VHF, UHF repeater usage in general or for nets, and what can we help to drive that potentially, please call now.
0TX repeater.
SUM comment.
Yeah, SUM, please go right ahead.
Well, I think part of the problem is lack of participation. Like I said before, it's just no comment, or no traffic. So you have to have active participation between participants to get somebody to listen for a while or an enjoyable conversation about radio usually.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Really do appreciate that. Yeah, we had a comment in the chat from Gary KC3NHE. Really do appreciate that. He's saying putting things on YouTube certainly doesn't hurt. He's been plugging us recently, so we can't thank him enough for doing that. So, yeah, if anybody's interested, again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, you can see what it looks like from a net control perspective. You can always catch up on it later after the fact. But yeah, Jonathan, as you were mentioned, if there's not much conversation going on, if it's just a couple people going back and forth, yeah, it's not gonna drive a whole lot of activity, unfortunately. Somebody was asking in the chat, and we've only had a couple people or one person really ever use it. We have All-Star connected up into our main repeater here. So All-Star, if you know how to use that, you can basically key up the repeater and talk from a remote location over the internet, essentially. So that is another way to participate if you're out of state on our local nets. We really don't advertise that too much as well. I think we have RCW, Robert K. From Texas, I think, calling in once in a while. DMR, Brandmeister, we need to try to figure out how to interlink some of these things and probably Echo Link. We want to get interlinked. So these are some initiatives we're working on as well next year to try to work on to hopefully encourage more participation. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I forgot how to use All-Star. I'm pretty sure you can just download an app pretty much on your phone, or I forget exactly how that works, if it has to be connected into a radio or not. But that would be kind of the only remote way at the moment to talk from a remote distance. Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's Learning Net so far, please call now.
KF0UUC with a question.
Yeah, Chad, KF0UUC. The net's yours.
Awesome, thanks. Just swapped antennas, so hope I'm still making it in there. The question is about these two repeaters on Centennial Cone. Linking them and their location, just curious, are they in the same location? Are they permanently linked, or do you link them for the net and then unlink them? Sorry about that dog. And yeah, I'm new to the hobby, so just trying to wrap my head around repeater linking. KF0UUC.
Not a problem at all. Yep. They are located in the same location. Two repeaters physically located in the same location on Centennial Cone. We do not need to turn on or off interlinking. The two repeaters, 145.490 and 448.625, are permanently linked together. So, yeah, luckily we don't need to mess around with them or anything, or change any settings on those two. So, yeah, if you or anyone else has further questions on it, go ahead.
Thank you. That answers those questions. And then, since I'm kind of far out here from the range and just using an HT, so I chose 2 meters and a longer antenna, which is better for 2 meters. And I'm assuming, just looking for feedback if the group thinks that's better than using the 70 centimeter option. KF0UUC back to net.
All right, great question. Yeah, and it sounds like it's the same issue that's haunting other people this evening on our repeater, is having the same issue with your signal as well, but it's coming in just fine though. It depends on the location. Potentially it depends on the location. I'm not too sure. I've always found it to work best with 2 meters. At least I'm in South Denver, and using UHF 5 watts seems to not do as well as 2 meters using the same setup. So at least that's my 2 cents. If anybody has, I don't actually know. That's a great question. If anybody, if you want to let us know what you call in on, whether it be 2 meter or 70 centimeter, I really don't know. I've always kind of assumed people use 2 meter, but if anybody has something on that, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious, Daron. What do you monitor on UHF? How many contacts do you get, or do you just monitor?
This is K1DBC. Not sure if that was for me or not, but I don't do too much UHF. I have 20 or 200, 300 channels programmed in my radio, so they definitely are there, and I scan through them. But if Chad or if somebody else had something on that, go right ahead.
Yeah, this is Chad. If the question is, what do I monitor on UHF? Lately, as I said, just kind of starting out, but lately I just monitor RMRL repeaters, and they have both. So that's about it. That's about all I do.
I mean, I've got like over 30 or 30 plus channels on UHF that I monitor and talk on. That's UHF around the front range, even GMRS, and also the P25 and a few DMRs, KO4 WDF.
So how much DMR traffic do you get?
W0TX repeater.
All right, appreciate the follow-up there. I think that was Lee, KO4WDF, and I think there was a further follow-up question on DMR usage. If you potentially use that DMR, go right ahead, Lee.
Sorry, I had the radio in scan mode and it went to another channel. I missed what was said.
No problem. I think the question was how much DMR usage that you have. Go right ahead.
Well, I use it quite a lot. Either on the Rocky Mountain Wide or Rocky Mountain Central, or I have it connected to SkyHub also. I'll either go to the analog side or use DMR to go to the digital side for SkyHub or Skylink or Sky, whatever it's called. I use it quite a bit, and I use the N0 OVA's UHF P25 repeater also around here. So I use DMR quite a bit.
But how often do people get on there? How many people are chatting with you? KE0SUM.
I mean, if I can't get anybody on Skyhub or Rocky Mountain White or Rocky Mountain Central, I can always go to 3100 and talk on USA 3100. So there's always a guaranteed somebody on there on that talk group. So I think, I'm going to be honest with you, I think throughout the most part, or whenever I'm mobile on the front range, I think I get a little bit more activity through UHF than I do on VHF. But that's me.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, the Colorado Digital Group, Talk Group 31088 is quite popular. I have that being monitored on my Pi star, and that is often keyed up, and a lot of activity in that one, coloradodigital.net. And it's interlinked with plenty of other systems as well. So, yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, anyone else, or Jonathan, or anyone else follow up on that? Please call now.
TRP.
Yeah, N0TRP. Go right ahead.
Yeah, regarding the VHF, UHF, Jerome, what I'd like to do here is I'm talking on the VHF right now, but here I'll switch immediately here and try it on the UHF. I'm just curious which one you hear better. So I'm going to switch here right now. I'm on the UHF and just kind of curious which one here is sounding better. I'm on the
No comparison. VHF is much better signal. SUM.
Okay, thank you. That's good to know. N0TRP back to net, and I'll go back to VHF.
Yeah, on UHF you're catching a lot of static, and your volume has gone down a bit, but the statics is what bothers me. SUM. Back to net.
Well, I'm curious to see what mine sounded like on the 625 here, UHF.
For you, not much different. WDF, if that was a UHF transmission, or if you want to confirm, but if that was a UHF transmission, it didn't sound any different.
You should check.
Yeah, I'm going through the UHF. That's what I got set up as a base station of the UHF. I'm going through the 625 repeater, KO4 WDF.
I stepped on somebody, sorry.
No problem, WDF. Really do appreciate the follow-up on that. Yeah, that sounds great from your end. So, and then Jonathan, yeah, no, right, no problem. SUM, go right ahead.
No, I was just commenting on the sound quality, because your radio must hear it different. Yeah, the UHF was really staticky. Now, I don't know his location, so that's part of it. But, oh no, VHF was far better audio quality.
TRP.
Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I've made a silly assumption there for for a moment that everyone heard the exact same thing. Definitely not the case. Yeah, probably location and lots of other variables. TRP, go right ahead.
Yeah, N0 TRP here. Line of sight to Centennial Coin is questionable for me, so it's understandable that the UHF would be weaker and not sound as good. N0 TRP back to net.
Good evening. The time is 8 p.m.
Perfect. Appreciate everyone checking in here so far. I'll probably take check-ins here in just a minute. There was some activity in the YouTube chat. I'll get back to you here in just a second. And we had w0tx.org/repeater maps. Some calculations and plotting. Following maps show the signal strength receive levels from DRC repeaters. These maps have been prepared by W6OAV using the free software Radio Mobile. The assumptions used, mobile unit is 25 watt FM using a standard quarter wave. Mobile unit receiver sensitivity requires 0.5 microvolt input. Green areas are set to show an additional 10 dB signal. The statistical reliability of coverage is set to 90% of certainty. Coverage may vary slightly depending on your mobile radio, antenna gain, installation, and vehicle. So yeah, everything that we kind of mentioned there. So yeah, if you want to look for our main repeaters, there are some our coverage maps.
Is the shot on YouTube UHF coverage? Issue.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
I was wondering if what you're showing on the YouTube is a UHF repeater for the Denver area. It doesn't look like VHF.
Sorry, it scrolls through different images. First one is our main 145490 repeater, VHF though.
0TX repeater.
All right, this is
UHF repeater really doesn't go all that far north, a little bit east and somewhat south, but yeah, compared to like the 145 repeater, which reaches long ways north and clear down to Monument.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, appreciate that. We had a check-in here online. See if this works here. Canadian, I believe. Call sign V3E DAC. Try to look them up on the Government of Canada's website here. Appreciate that. Comments, questions, check-ins. Go right ahead.
N0 TRP with a comment.
Yeah, TRP. Go right ahead.
This N0 TRP. So I just want to remind everybody we still will have the Denver Radio Club lunch this next Wednesday, third Wednesday. As usual, I know that the evening meeting is going to take place on Sunday on the 14th, but we'll still have the regular third Wednesday of the month lunch at the Sunset restaurant there at Mississippi and Wadsworth, 1424 South Wadsworth. So another opportunity to participate for all who are interested. N0 TRP, back to net.
What was the day and date of that brunch?
That'd be Wednesday, December 17th, third Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. at the Sunset Restaurant.
Thanks for the information. I might try to attend that one. It's not far from me. Shoo, I'm back to that.
Excellent. Really do appreciate that. TRP, I can't thank you all enough for continuing to put that on. Again, Denver, w0tx.org under events, monthly lunch, third Wednesday of the month, 11:30 a.m. and location there. So yeah, it's awesome to see. Really do appreciate that. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We had a call correction online. VE3DAC Matthew, really do appreciate you checking in. Coming from Medford, Ontario, or Meaford. I don't know how to pronounce that, but glad to have you in here. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. All right, another call if you'd like to check in. We have another 25 or so minutes. If you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Alpha Bravo 8 Whiskey November. This is Pete in Arvada. No traffic at this moment. Thank you.
Excellent, Pete. Glad to hear you in there. AB8WN. Kind of organically after the our net started here, we talked about our repeater usage and dwindling numbers of people checking in, and so I did certainly bring up, at least briefly, the new committee that we're going to probably start working through. So if you have anything further on that later on, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to get some information up, so like that I'll have more information as we go forward. Me and Brian Diem are working on that together for kind of doing some of that and just kind of getting some information. So I'll have more later, probably later this week, and put that up and let everybody know. Thank you. Back to that. This is AB8WN.
Excellent. Thanks again. Again, that was for anybody who had missed it initially. That was a new committee, membership involvement committee, to try to get more involvement with our club, to find, discuss, and present possible solutions to the board of directors to increase membership participation. So this committee looks to drive suggestions for paths of involvement, allowing for the club to provide resources to members in the Denver area. And we'll have plenty more information on there. So there'll be some committee sponsors, chairs, secretary, members, and member chairs. Discussion examples are members receiving timely, informative communications, what communication would be beneficial for members. Those are just a couple. So more information will come out. Again, can't thank both of them for heading that up, as well as Kelly, our membership chairperson. Okay, this is K1 DVC Net Control. Let's see a couple comments in the YouTube chat there. Let's see, one was asking about options for those who are studying for their tech to participate in Denver Radio Club. They're eager to learn and participate, but there seems to be limited options until they pass their tech license. Another further comment was you don't need a license to listen, and that's certainly the case. And you certainly don't need a license to be a member of our club either. Our club provides some testing, not a whole lot of examination. Let me drop for a moment. We don't teach classes too much more. I think we maybe used to do that, but involvement in our club, you can certainly view us up online if you'd like, w0tx.org. Plenty of info on there. Let's see. So if anybody has further comments or anything on that, there's tons of things you can do before you get a license. Another comment here was you can get a license. Club stations are a great start. You could do builds, learn programming, work on skills such as repair and build as well. So plenty of cool stuff out there. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Another reminder, the video suggestion, VHF, UHF repeater nets are so boring. Over on Ham Radio Concepts YouTube page, maybe the call sign is actually KJ4YZI potentially, or that's either way, Ham Radio Concepts, and might have some information on repeater usage and what we can do to gain more usage. Anyone else, though, please call now.
0TX repeater.
Let's see, recent publication from the ARL, the On the Air magazine. One of their, one of the articles is building a bifiller helix antenna for satellite contacts. I might be pronouncing that completely incorrectly, but previous presenter to our club, John Portune, W6NBC, and Jim Bailey, W6OEK, have put this together. An easier to construct, less expensive alternative to the popular quadrifilar helix antenna. They've provided tools and materials needed. Very brief description, and I think you can view this online as well. The QFH has long been a favorite of ham satellite aficionados. Its two rectangular loops are connected in parallel, twisted half a turn lengthwise, and mounted at right angles on the same axis to permit it to transmit, receive equally in all directions, side to side, and up and down. What's even better is that it's circularly polarized over its entire radiation pattern, making it ideal as an antenna on spacecraft that tumble or rotate in flight. But the QFH is also excellent as a satellite antenna that you can put on your roof without a rotator. Let's see just a little bit more on that. It does not lend itself to the ham home workshop, so we tried to find simplifications that wouldn't compromise performance. On spacecraft that typically tumble or rotate in flight, radiation pattern nulls, meaning to say directions in which the radiation is weaker, are significant. At a ham's ground station, where the same ham satellite usually passes overhead from the same direction, the nulls can be ignored by simply turning them crosswise to the satellite's orbit. A good percentage of the satellites hams use for making contacts are low Earth orbit. They pass over the Earth's poles and then all locations on Earth in a north-south or south-north direction. A 2-degree offset from the poles causes ground station passes to be roughly at the same time each day. Just a little bit more on there, and then the rest of it is the construction steps. A singular loop bifiller helix antenna, therefore, can be mounted in a fixed position without the need for a rotator. there is no need to track LEO, low Earth orbit satellites. One simply mounts the BFH with its top and bottom arms pointed in the direction of the satellite pass. Therefore, with two fixed mounted BFH antennas on your roof, one for 2 meter and one scale down for the 70 centimeter band, the world of ham radio low Earth orbit satellite contacts is wide open. So really cool stuff here. Let's see, anyone else? We have 15 or so minutes here left. Comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Please call now. Let's see, something timely. Just about 12 hours ago, it was reported that welcoming breaking news, our 60-meter band just got bigger. Over on QRPer.com, they reported by Thomas, K4SWL, the FCC just handed us a new gift, and we're keeping it, the one we already had too. Keep in mind, this is his interpretation of the following FCC report and Order FCC 25-60, released on December 9th. Please update corrections as needed. What's new? We now have access to a brand new chunk of the 60-meter band, 5351.5 megahertz to kilohertz to 5366.5 kilohertz. That's on top of the discrete 60-meter channels we've been using up to this point. Here are the caveats. You'll need at least a general class license to use the new allocation. And if you're working the new band, you're limited to 9.15 watts ERP, which is well within the margin for those who run QRP. Very short article here, so the rest of it. What modes? Phone, CW, RIDI, digital. Seems like it's all fair game. We just need to keep our bandwidth to no wider than 2.8 kilohertz. So in summary, the ruling also notes power restrictions in the 70 centimeter band for operators in military coordination areas, but that's outside the scope of what they do. He feels like it's big, and at least for him, unexpected win. The 60-meter band is a good one, and he uses it more often in the doldrums of the last sunspot cycle. All right, anyone else on that? Some good comments in here. I'm saying that's huge. 60 meters is one of those magic bands. Yeah, I think we've talked about it before, but not too much operations on it myself. But 60-meter band operations or anything else on that, go right ahead. All right, nothing heard. Comments, questions, further check-ins, anything else? We have 10 or so minutes. I can certainly bring up maybe another article or two, but anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, anything timely? Recent news, recent purchases, any recent projects? If somebody has something, please call now.
KF0UUC, Chad. Have a question about crossband repeating, and I did switch to UHF, so let me check if I'm making it in. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, Chad, UUC, you're sounding great, and go right ahead with the question about crossband repeating.
KF0UUC. I've never done it, so it's something I'd like to learn about, and just makes me just thinking here, brainstorming, if someone were to use crossband repeating on their radio, and what if they program the output of that to be the input of a repeater. What do the repeater owners think of that? The clubs, what do they think of that? Sorry, I think I dropped. And it seems like that could cause some issues. Some traffic could be directed to a repeater. That was unintended. I wonder if anybody has experience with that, KF0UUC.
Oh, great question there. Yeah, we have brought up crossband repeating before. I know that essentially a kind of the same kind of scenario that you kind of explained there. People will set up they'll drive to a mountain, they'll have their mobile radio in their vehicle connected to a repeater and crossband repeat mode, and then they use an HT further on in the mountain to connect. So I don't think that's an issue. I think that's kind of how it's supposed to be used. It's being able to connect to a crossband or connecting a crossband repeating radio up to a regular repeater, I think that's fine. But if someone has something further on that, go right ahead.
My comment.
Yeah, SUM with the comment. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Intermountain Repeater Group, and we've done comm control for the Race Up Mount Blue Sky for many years. Didn't get to do it this year. It's closed for construction, but yeah, you're just using UHF to transmit to the VHF, which then increases your power and sends it back out. And it works pretty good. You just have a dual band receiver. Actually, I stand corrected myself. You don't just need two radios. You can use the UHF from your car and transmit over VHF. So, yeah, then it'll come back to you in the same UHF format.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Thanks for confirming that. Anyone else on that, on crossband repeating? Yeah, it's if you're in an area where you have a mobile rig set up and in coverage of a repeater and you are needing to do some hiking or something else, search and rescue, things like that, that is how crossband works. So it's very, very functional and very, very helpful in those sort of scenarios. So awesome to hear. Further comments or questions on that? UUC, Chad? Or anyone else, go right ahead.
Enzo TRP.
Yeah, N0 TRP. The dot is yours.
It's N0 TRP. I'm just wondering if another example of crossband repeating would be what you use to communicate with satellites, where you uplink on a VHF and downlink on a UHF, or vice versa. Would you consider that crossband repeat also?
That's a great question. I don't know. I guess you might consider that crossband repeating, because it definitely does use a different downlink and uplink, and you need a true dual VFO radio to do that. So I maybe, yeah, but I'm not too sure. All right, this is K1DBC. I guess at least the repeaters themselves, unlike the International Space Station, for example, those are crossband repeaters themselves, as is our main repeater that we're talking on now. I think could be considered because it does crossband. Anyone else though? Crossband repeater operations or comments or questions? Go right ahead.
KF0UUC. Great information. Thanks. That helps. Now I'm thinking about the scenario where you have a nice radio in your truck and you're crossband repeating from your HT up to a repeater. Do these radios, for example, like a 300 series Yaesu, does it also go the other direction? Does it crossband down, or is that common, or is that more? Sorry, I dropped again. Might be the timeout. Does it go the other direction too? Is that common, or is that more of a high-end radio, basically a repeater at that point, or almost a repeater, but across two different bands? Thank you.
Crossband repeat is essentially, yes, a repeater, because you could have it in your truck parked somewhere in the woods and then have your handheld out. So you are communicating VHF into a UHF repeater, and then it translates the signal.
Excellent. Thanks for the follow-up on that. Yeah, and I do believe it. I think it should be able to repeat both VHF to UHF and UHF to VHF. I think. But and I don't know what the commonality of that depends on. As we're hearing our repeater this evening, it depends, I guess, on location and what you're trying to do. But I think it's anyone else though? Go right ahead.
Drone, I don't think you mentioned DMR. I don't think you can do that with DMR. I think it's VHF, UHF only. Yes, you went.
All right, sorry about that. I may have had a slip of the tongue, but yeah, analog only for sure. Is most how most crossband repeating works. So yeah, I don't know. Brian Master probably doesn't support that. I'm not too sure there. Yeah. Comments, questions, further, anything else? We have just a few more minutes here. Been pretty good activity for this time of the year. Again, can't thank everyone enough for checking in. We'll be having these nets this month. This month alone will be every Wednesday. Again, the 24th and the 31st. We'll try to have a net. We will have a net, but it'll probably be pretty quiet. And again, considering those are right before holidays. With that, though, anyone else? Further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead.
K9BYU with a comment.
Yeah, Russell, K9BYU. The net is yours. I got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, crossband is a very handy tool. I actually use it a lot when I'm out in the desert of Utah, because I usually will set up the Jeep up on top of a ridge, and then when we hike down into the canyons, I can use the Jeep as a cross. And depending on the location, it depends on which way I set up, whether using UHF to VHF or VHF to UHF. It kind of all depends on the frequency of the repeater in that particular location that I'm trying to reach. And I do believe if you have like a Yaesu radio, that you can actually crossband it from analog to a digital repeater. Like if you're going from just a analog from like VHF to maybe like a UHF YSF repeater. It does have that capability. And I think that was it. Back to you guys. K9 BYU.
W0TX repeater.
Excellent. Thanks to Russell there, K9 BYU, for the real-world experience and knowledge there. Yeah, it depends, and it sounds like, VHF, UHF, and can be reversed, and it depending on the repeater and the requirements of the repeater. Yeah, awesome to hear. And yeah, that's cool to hear that there's possible some digital crossover modes as well. So that's awesome to hear. Anyone else? Probably just a couple of minutes here, just 8:30. Comments, questions, further check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. A lot of chat in the YouTube chat here this evening. Really appreciate that. Sorry I wasn't able to monitor too much here. But yeah, great to see new faces, new names, and hopefully studying goes well. And feel free to hit us up if you have any questions. This is a great place to do so. And let's see some comments and questions here. They were talking about 10 Tech radios earlier. Someone's using portable use. They're FT70D, 70D for 5 watts. Pi Zero USB battery for Yaesu System DMR conversion, which transmits to the internet via 5G. Well, it's a pretty interesting setup there. Let's see. A question was someone would like to know: is there a good suggestion for a good wire to use for replacing the counterpoise? He's just wanting something inexpensive and that won't be easily missed by people using the mower. Suggestion in here was 14 gauge yellow is what they use. So, anyone else on that, or any further comments, questions, check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Another great social media, or another effort by Pete Sabansky, AB8B8WN, groups.io. /G/W0TX. We have not yet merged our ham learning net one into this one, but we have 91 members here, it looks like, and plenty of topics in there. So if anybody has comments or questions about our nets or the club or further follow-up, pretty cool stuff here. There's a recent reminder by Kelly Sabansky. Do appreciate that. KB8OGP about holiday meeting and dinner reminder. We have it set as tomorrow will be the last date that you can purchase if you'd like, for $30 a head, w0tx.org, underneath events and December dinner. If you'd like to attend this Sunday, the 14th, at the Old Spaghetti Factory. More information on our club website. Let's see another post by Kelly here. Posting on behalf of K5JAX, has the last 3 years of QST magazines, looking for a good home. If you're interested, post your information on here. Looks like there was maybe a follow-up on here. So maybe you could share the load potentially, but get in there before it's too late. So comments, questions, further check-ins. We'll probably start to wrap the net up here, though. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Not hearing anything further. I'll have to go watch that video that was mentioned earlier over on Ham Radio Concepts. And if you are interested in running our nets, we certainly have a lot of opportunity to do so. So get a hold of us, net@w0tx.org. We can show you the ropes. There is a script that you read from and a website, a Google Sheet that we have set up for typing in someone's call sign, and then it automatically fills in everything for them. So if you're interested, let us know. We'd love to see more participation in that. And with that, final call. Last minute comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now. Okay, nothing heard. We'll wrap things up then. We had 10 check-ins. I think maybe a couple more that I potentially missed from YouTube chat. Sorry about that. But yeah, great participation. Again, we'll meet next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, the 17th. And as well, again, w0tx.org under events, the informal Wednesday meeting, third Wednesday of the month, 11:30 a.m. We'd love to see you out there. So more information on our club website as well. Can't thank enough everyone who participated, everyone who checked in. Can't thank enough our club for allowing us to use the repeaters. With that, yeah, next week, 7:30 p.m., 1930 hours for the next Learning Net. Again, thanks everyone for checking in, and 7-3 to all. I'll be clear. Thanks again, everyone in the chat. It's great to see that. So, love to see you guys in there. Appreciate you guys checking in. You guys take care. Have a good night.